These crowds will have to wait another week before they can party at Butter Factory again. This is because one of the staff at the club has contracted the influenza A H1N1 virus. Butter Factory's executive chairman, Ms Tay Eu Yen, told RazorTV that they made the decision to voluntarily close the club at around 4:30 p.m. today.
Could you give us an update on what happened during this period after the H1N1 cases were reported?
Okay, since the last news, I think it was on the Wednesday cluster thing. Since then, two of my staff went for testing. They had high fever and they went to the hospital. One was tested positive. And so we spoke to the MOH and they assured us that as long as we disinfect our premises as told to do prior to that, we would be okay to continue business because it's not really about the premise, but it's about the people. But we are just worried that because our staff is infected, that the people around him or even more staff are likely to start to show symptoms. And because of this particular nature of the virus, being 7 days incubation and being infectious 1 day before you can see the symptoms, we just decided that we wanted to be socially responsible. So we volunteered shutdown. We told the MOH that we are going to volunteer shutdown. At which point they actually told us that they don't think it's necessary. But because some of our staff may be quarantined, we decided that even if it's not necessary, we might as well do it, so that when we start again next week, everybody's on a clean slate anyway. We have decided to quarantine not just our operations staff, but also our management staff. So everybody that works for the Butter Factory, including the DJs, are on home quarantine right now until next week.
When did you realize that one of the staff is positive with H1N1?
Last night. Very late last night. We called the MOH right after we got that news. MOH was meant to interview him to see if he was actually connected with the Butter Factory because there's been a 2-day break between our last operations. They've managed to contact him, so I think that we are convinced that there's a probability that he was connected with the operations on Saturday. So we decided to just be safe about it.
When the club reopens, will you be restricting numbers or doing any extra measures on top of, temperature checks?
We have asked the MOH whether we are required to do anything else. Because honestly, we're not professionals at this, so we seek a lot of advice from the MOH and hygiene consultants. And we specifically asked them if there's anything else we should do besides disinfecting the place thoroughly, and they said no. So I think that what we will do would be to continue with what we've been doing according to the guidelines. I mean, one of the other guidelines was to appoint a flu manager, which we have, and this guy is in charge of looking out for people who are unwell, and he's got a space suit and everything. So whenever anybody is unwell, they will escort the person away and take temperature and call the ambulance and all that . So these are the guidelines. We're going to continue to follow them very, very strictly. But apart from anything else that the MOS tells us is necessary, we will do. But we're not going to go beyond what they feel is adequate because honestly, as people who are not professionals, we also don't know what to do unless they tell us to do it.
Butter Factory will reopen next Wednesday.